A couple of days ago, CS2 players woke up to countless posts urging them not to play the game. Why? Well, because massive exploits were found. Ones that could put porn on your screen, remove items from your inventory, or literally even dox you. It's supposedly been fixed, but is it really safe to play now? Valve has had a pretty rough week or so. On top of the ongoing false bans I recently reported on, and the massive wave that saw thousands of innocents banned, things got even worse. Monday morning, posts started circulating of a massive security issue within CS2. Allegedly, users figured out it was possible to change your Steam IDs to entire HTML blocks. These could be links to pictures or even GIFs, and apparently, since CS2's in-game voting system isn't properly sanitized, they would show you the actual images and not the line of text. I didn't fully understand this, so thankfully a dev here at theScore gave me an explanation and a pretty good example. The HTML of an image on Google shows up like this, and when something like a browser sees the code, it will interpret it and show the image rather than that code. A game like CS2 would want to be sanitized, so they would escape it, basically meaning change certain characters so they know not to interpret the image, but instead just keep it as the code. But since they didn't, if you made your name the link to gore or pornographic images, that's what would show up on screen if you started something like a vote. Obviously childish as but as this is the CS community, it's pretty par for the course, and from what I've been told, a massive oversight on Valve's part. Some of the same accounts that were warning about this issue in the first place also claim that this exploit could be used to grab IP addresses of teammates who see the vote window. Sure, I now understand how not properly escaping a code could end up showing an entire image instead of just the HTML block. I sort of connect it to how back in Source, Valve let you make your spray literally whatever you wanted, and for most people, that was usually porn. But how does that somehow equal players getting their IP addresses leaked? Well, along with a dev from theScore, to get a better understanding of all of this, I reached out to prolific CS2 data miner Aquarius to help me understand. And it's actually quite simple. Every image that exists on the internet is stored on a server somewhere, and whenever your machine views that image, your IP address needs to access that server. So in the context of what's going on in CS2, since the image popped up in your game and not the line of text, your computer is basically forced to access that server. And if someone were using an IP logger at the same time, they would technically be able to view yours. Sounds freaky, right? Well, that's exactly what a lot of people posting about this were thinking too, including hacker and game developer Jason Thorhall, who not only urged people to not play the game, but claimed it could lead to an XSS attack.
I would not play CS right now. I would not do it. You are 100% vulnerable to this until they fix it. Do not play that game right now. And that is coming from a security expert. I've been a hacker for 20 years. This is incredibly easy to pull off. You don't want this. You don't want this at all.
In an XSS or cross-site scripting attack, a user could potentially use malicious script that could get onto your computer whenever the vote pops up. If that was true, this would be a massive security exploit for Valve. But after testing, Aquarius claims it wasn't actually possible because script tags weren't working in this exploit. In fact, Aquarius and plenty of other people believe this entire situation was blown out of proportion. Yes, he agreed that people shouldn't play the game until it was fixed, but since an XSS attack wasn't actually possible, he figured the exploit was actually pretty innocuous. That's because it required a lot of randomness for a stranger to get into a lobby with you, log your IP, and then do something nefarious with it. Others obviously disagreed, and many criticized Valve for not actually speaking on the issue. However, while all of this was going on, another exploit was discovered, one that Aquarius claimed was in fact a big deal. It turns out that it was possible for workshop maps to have scripts on them that could apply and scratch off stickers, as well as remove cases from your inventory. It wasn't possible for entire skins to get deleted, but as we know, stickers and cases can be just as valuable. Fortunately, regardless of how you feel about the actual danger of them, both these exploits were removed fairly quickly. How do we know this? Well, it's sure as hell not because Valve told us. I mean, a statement, they didn't even release patch notes for this. Literally the only reason we know it's safe to play again is because people like Aquarius and Game Follower figured it out. Listen, maybe this wasn't a big deal after all, maybe it was. I personally don't like the idea of someone having access to my IP address or f***ing with my inventory, but it seems at the moment like nothing bad actually happened to anyone. Still, at the very least, this is a little embarrassing for Valve. From what I've heard, this is like user security 101, and for them to miss it is pretty concerning. Does that mean that Valve needed to make a big statement addressing this issue? I don't know how I feel about that one, but for f***'s sake, at least some patch notes. Sure, this is quickly becoming a distant meme now, but it's also just another incident adding to all the bad PR they faced since launch. Now, with all of that said, is it actually safe to play CS2 again? Well, at the moment, apparently so. But seeing as we wake up to some more bullshit every single day, I'd recommend checking Twitter ever so often. I played yesterday, and just...
I got your IP address. It came through.
You got my IP address? Yeah, I actually already changed it, so... Shit out of luck. But yeah, I played yesterday because I figured it was safe, and then lobby's just filled with cheaters, so I started playing the finals, and that was more fun.